The NSX GT1 Turbo, Honda's racing car, which was built to win the overall champions title at the Le Mans 24-hour in 1995. While Honda pursued perfection in high-revving, naturally aspirated engines for its production models, the GT1 was equipped with the turbocharger, the installment of the turbo aimed at defeating their arch-rival, the McLaren F1. The power plant was based on the 3-liter C30A, equipped with a twin turbo, pumping out over 650 horsepower at 8,500 RPMs. All the accumulated engineering know-how gained through the days when Honda reigned the Formula One turbo era was utilized to develop this Le Mans special. The chassis looks a lot more like a production car compared to the GT cars of today. But obviously, the brakes and suspension were completely different from the production models. Dunlop slicks were chosen. The top drivers of the Honda Works team, Han, Gachot, and Ivan Capelli, tested and raced this car at Le Mans in 1995. In the actual race, the car had to drop out on the 7th lap after a clutch problem developed. Now we are fortunate to get the chance to test this car exclusively for the lucky viewers of Best Motoring. The driver for the task is, of course, Keiichi Tsuchiya. Tsuchiya was the GT2 class winner in the same 1995 Le Mans, driving an NSX GT2.
NSX ターボだよ。すごすぎ。まっすぐ速い。当時のまま動くってすごいことだよこれ。僕らの GT2 の場合はもうちょっとこう後ろを動かさないようにしてアンダー強くしたけどね、この車はやっぱりセットアップそのまんまだからオーバーが結構強い。ギアも合ってないけどさ、トルクで持ってっちゃうってところがすごいよこれ。よくできてるんだよね。やっぱこうなんつうの、世界のヒノキ舞台で戦うだけの車だね。本当にそういう作り方をしてる。エンジンなんか本当にルマに合ってるっていうかさ、もうシフトダウンしなくてもギアで回っていくよっていうぐらいすごいよく完成されたエンジンだよね。トルクバンドが狭い650馬力じゃないんだよ。4000回転から使える650馬力だよね。
I'm sorry to say, but the drivers racing in JGTC can't imagine how powerful 650 horsepower is. 650 is a power that can really win at Le Mans. The difference between the GT 500 cars and this turbo Le Mans car is its power. The Le Mans car has much more power. The 650 horsepower easily takes this car over 300 kilometers per hour. I mean, the driver can't read the digital speedometer going up until it rests at around 320 kilometers per hour. GT cars, on the other hand, are more like formula cars. This Le Mans Turbo feels more like a production car than the GT 500 cars of today. This turbo really maneuvers like a production car. The driver must control the front grip and the rear weight in order to keep the car going steady at high speeds, which is exactly what you usually do with the road-going model. By test driving the Le Mans car, it reminded me that true GT cars should handle like this machine. The common characteristic of a production car is that it possesses roughness and imperfect handling properties. The limit may be set at a high level, but once an experienced driver takes it beyond that limit, the difficulty of controlling such car turns into pure joy. That's definitely the fun part about driving a mid-engine NSX.
In this section, we'll focus on a car that's gone through some major changes. The NSX Type S. The NSX has gone through its first major facelift since its debut in 1990. The front end, with the new fixed headlamps, adds more character. This alteration has also reduced the front overhang weight, which should improve the overall handling of this car. The major components, such as the engine and the suspension, were left untouched this time since they had already evolved through the past decade. However, the long-standing question of tire size has been addressed at last, with this new model wearing inched up 17 inches in the front and 255 tires in the rear. Yokohama and Dunlops were chosen as the standard tires, with Bridgestones no longer available as the standard. The new models are the standard NSX and this Type S only. The Type S Zero, sad to report, is no longer in production.
The NSX, revamped at last. This car obviously is Honda's flagship model and also one of Japan's top sports cars. The face looks different. What do you think about it? I can say that it looks younger than the old models when you put both cars next to each other. Yes, it looks newer. Do I like it? I'd have to think about that. Looks like a bug. Anyway, looks doesn't matter much if it's fast. We'll take the new Type S against the old models. The old models? I personally have a 3.2-liter NSX, but it's already an old model, which is such a shame. Anyway, we have all the major models here today to compare the new Type S with. The old Type S, Type S Zero, and the limited production Type R, which was produced during 1992 through 1995. The Type R should still be tough to beat. We'll see.
All right, let's take the new Type S out for a spin and see how it's improved. As this model was primarily developed for these winding roads, the evaluation here is going to be critical.
すごくこう楽しいんだけれども、カウンターが本当にすごい小打角で済むっていうね。もう乗って攻めた時に一発で分かる。全然違う。別のテストドライバーかハンコを押す人が変わったぐらい違う、この車は。
Next up, the old Type S for a direct comparison of the old and the new. Let's see how big the difference is between these cars.
Ah, やっぱりね、動きが大きい、旧型の方が。ちょっとそれすぎるよこれ。思ったよりね。ブレーキを残した時のオーバーステアの出方が違うね。ちょっとね、こっちの方がヒヤッとする動きをする。すごく限界高くてスピード高いんですよ、このスピード。やっぱりこうキャパ不足でタイヤがね。やっぱいいよ、新型。後ろの粘りが全然違う。やっぱね、疲れるね、こっちの方がね。動きが余計な動きが出るから、こっちの方が本当に操作、人間の操作する時間が長い。新型の方がね、動きがこうリアル動きが収まらないっていうか、やっぱね、進化してますね。これはね、疲れた俺。
Among the 3.2-liter NSXs, the hottest version has got to be this S0.
タイプ R じゃないんですけれども、タイプ R の代わりに出たのがこの S0 だったわけですが、これをちょっと乗ってみたいと思います。
How will the S0 handle with reduced weight and stiffened suspension?
リアがキャパ不足、やっぱタイヤだね。うわ、足はいいね。抜群にいいよこれ。すっげえ走りやすい。このキビキビしたこの足、いいね、この足は。このキャパ不足のタイヤでもね、速く走れる。跳ねるか、跳ねるけどすげえ。ブラボーいいね、これね。これがやっぱ乗ってて一番楽しい。全然性格が違う。素人で乗りませんよっていうね、すごく攻撃的な足を持ってて、腕のある人にとってはすごく乗りやすくて、そのすごくマイルドで接地感がある。だからこういうものをベースにホンダにはやっぱりタイプ R を望みたいですね。
Last of the bunch, the legendary machine familiar to our audience, the NSXR.
さあ、古いことは古い。95年で生産中止されてますけれども、やっぱりこう NSX の3リッターの中では頂点に君臨したこのタイプ R。このタイプ R を置いて次期タイプ R は語れない。まさしくですね、これをちょっと検証してみたいと思います。
It's a 3-liter 5-speed, but the lightest model in NSX history.
とてつもなく速いよこれ。コーナーの飛び込みの速度なんかやっぱ軽いからだね。すんげえな。これがある、これがホンダの作り上げるね、世に送り出す R のエンブレムを貼れる車だよね、これ。これはやっぱ S0 とは違う。無駄な動きは全く出ない。いや、したな。アンダーっぽいね、ちょっとね。このアンダーは上級者じゃなきゃ消せないと思う。そのくらいやっぱこう常識的な車これ。
So, how was the NSXR?
もうね、言うことないね。今までの NSX ってね、そのナンバーついてるんだろうなっていうね。これはもうホンダが R のエンブレムをつけた車はこうですっていう、はっきり色が見えてる、真っ赤だっていうね。モデルチェンジ
The new refined NSX We've seen how it handled on the winding country roads and how the maximum speed has gone up in these road conditions compared to the old model. The front grip has increased compared to the old model, and it's more mild at oversteer situations. The old model was indeed at a high level, but the new NSX can be controlled at an even higher level. So the car is significantly safer to drive. I drive the old Type S, but the rigidity of the new model is far better than my car. Oversteer appears at a higher limit, and after it goes in the oversteer mode, the driver can receive all the information needed to control the car. It responds well to counter-steering as well. These improvements are very pleasing. The biggest difference, though, is the turn in speed into the corners. Obviously, the cornering speed after the tuck-in is faster on the new model. This difference comes from the tires for sure. I felt that other small alterations must be done too. For the current NSX owners, this new model is tempting, and the renewed NSX is for sure the fastest street model with a great suspension.
Next test, the quarter-mile battle, 04 in Japanese, the new NSX against earlier models. First up, the old and new Type S's with Papa Gan-san in the new Type S.
10年ぶり、実際はもっと経ってるかな。で、新しくなった NSX、それでタイプ S です、これは。で、外観とタイヤサイズが変わりました。で、ついでにタイヤのブランドまで変わったんでね。で、その辺がとりあえず今から走る04でどうなるか。
Gan-san Jr. Takuya in the old Type S.
新型が出て旧型になってしまいましたが、タイプ S、現行乗ってるオーナーがたくさんいると思うんで、新型に負けないように頑張ります。
Both cars with exactly the same options and they're off.
変わんねえな。
どうだ
Tight race.
やっぱ変わんないよな。
But the old model takes it by a hair.
ほとんど変わらないな。ただ今ちょっと回転低すぎちゃってさ、スタートしてからの加速はタイプ S 同士だと全く変わらないね。本当に同じ。タイヤのサイズ変わって少し変わるかと思ったら全く同じじゃない。
The trial ground for the new Type S continues with its next opponent, the NSXR.
新型出たばっかりのこれも初めて乗ります。中は変わってません。タイプ R で軽いといえども旧型に負けるわけいかないんで、頑張ります。
タイヤが15、16のタイプ R で、ただ車重がね70キロが軽いんで、それが久しぶりの04でどうなりますか。
They're off, and the new model out in front with its 3.2-liter engine.
タイプ R もなかなか速いな。
Wow, Takuya taking it, coming across at 12.7 seconds.
NSX 最速が出ました。すごいミッションのタッチがいい。ただね、ちょっとクラッチがでも速いっすよ。十分いいトラクションかかってる。
And finally challenging is the S0. Now, Gan-san, time to do your thing.
12秒7が出たそうなんで、でも今度は相手が S0 で S0 にはね負けるかもしれないけども、でも04に限っては多分ハンデないと思うんだよな。
Here's the start, and Takuya with a great start again.
なかなかいいスタート。
ダメだ。
やっぱ軽いからな。
And the time, unbelievable.
04終わりました。で、新型タイプ S が、すごくいいタイムが出て、結果的には S0 には追いつかなかったけども、旧タイプ R よりも旧タイプ S よりも若干いいのと、タイプ R より良かったかな。
タイプ R はまあちょっと高速ミッションで3リッターっていうのもあるんですけど、新型はまだ04だけなんでコーナリング性能うんぬん分かんないんですけど、04もなかなか速くて、
最初のトラクションかかるところはタイヤが変わっても十分性能が出てたかなと、先と言ってもいいのかもしれませんけども、それはまたつくば行って、タイヤが変わった新しいタイプ S をじっくり見たいと思いますが、とりあえず04ではやっぱり若干進化してるかなと、いうところが見えました。